Hello everyone, this is Dr. Anshuman, and I hope every one of you are doing well in your homes in this time of the pandemic. I wish good health to you and your family. I'm here on this platform of Vision Magitech to discuss with you on a topic regarding how to maintain good health and a good immunity in this time of the pandemic. And later on, we shall put certain notes on regarding medical as a career in this time of the pandemic. Regarding health as a whole, health will encompass all its three components of physical, mental, and social aspect to enjoy or to sustain a good health. All these three components must be kept in check. Regarding the physical aspect of it, the if you ask me to summarize the concept of health, I would summarize it into 3 points or three pillars of health, which I might say as first is exercise, second is nutrition, and third is the most important of all is sleep. Nutrition, as we all know, keeping or maintaining a good balanced diet is of paramount. A good diet will consist of a certain amount or a good amount of carbohydrates, fats, as well as proteins, and try to increase your intake of green leafy vegetables in your diet. It is said the more colorful the vegetable is, the better is its mineral and vitamin contents. Regarding the use of protein, you can choose according to your choices. For vegetarian, there are options of milk protein, whereas for non-vegetarians, you have wide variety of animal proteins on your platter. Another point is choosing the meat. It is for hypertensive patients, it is often advised to cut down your intake of red meat. Same applies in the case of salt. Many of the hypertensive patients says that while they are on antihypertensive medications, it is okay for them to have salt. Is it? It is not okay for you to have too much amount of salt. It is always advisable to keep your salt intake per day to up to 1 tablespoon per day for per person. Now, how can you have this amount of salt and still have the nutritious content, mostly the iodine content of salt, intact within it? So it is advised to add the salt during the end of your cooking and to keep your salt containing containers tight lid so that iodine, which is volatile, does not evaporate out. Coming to the next part would be exercise. While in nutrition, another most important fact is having fruits in your diet. It is always advisable to have local and locally produced variety of fruits in your platter rather than imported fruits, because the nutritional value of it would be intact in this local variety of fruits. Even the pesticide content or the preservative content of it would also be less. Now, coming to the other part, which would be exercise. Although in this pandemic, when most of you are in your homes under this lockdown phase, it is quite difficult for many to go out for outdoor activities, to go out for even a jog or a run or your gyms. So you can, instead of flying around or negating the entire time, try to incorporate at least 20 minutes per day for 5 days a week for exercise. You can choose your exercise of choice. Personally, I would choose aerobic exercises over overall. And although it is quite difficult for many to have a open space to exercise during this pandemic, but try to sort to some types of exercise which can be done, for example, in your bed, on the flat surface, or on floor, or even on standing positions. That's how, in short, if I have to say it, exercise or workout till you sweat. Even inculcate this habit in your children also, because the next point which you're going to discuss is sleep is quite interrelated. Now, lack of exercise and this uh, time that we should dedicate for exercise, we are dedicating it to screen time. Now, what is screen time? It is a time that we dedicate to watch our digital devices, for example, mobiles, iPads, laptops, televisions. In fact, if we dedicate more amount of time to this screen time, what happens is our rate of blinking of eyes decreases, and as a consequence, you may complain of dry eyes. There might be straining of your muscle of eyes, complaining of headache. So, resorting to more screen time and staying late in the nights are one of the reasons for stress in the modern world. Although many interrelating factors are there between sleep and stress or depression as such, so one point you can keep in your notebook is how to decrease your screen time. For kids, if you say, you can decrease it to a certain period of time. For example, if your kid is between 5 years to say 8 to 10 years, try to limit it to maximum of 1 to 1.5 hour, or use them on reward basis. Like if the child does some physical activity, then you reward him with about half an hour of screen time. Play with that reward activity, and try to keep the digital devices, if possible, out of your bedrooms, and try to use your screens not at your bedside. So it is advisable to switch off your devices 1 hour prior to sleep, because an uninterrupted 8 hours of sleep is quite important for maintaining a good health, as well as there are many physical illness which can be attributed to sleeplessness or decreased sleep. In fact, memory, the, the strengthening of memory, or what we call consolidation of memory, happens when you have an uninterrupted and good amount of sleep. Because sleeplessness will and are causing many sleep related disorders. Now, coming to the part of the mental well-being of health, how to maintain a balance between staying at your homes and not maintaining a regular social life with your friends, which many of us used to have prior to this time of pandemic, is by staying connected with them via various platforms you can choose of your own. When you're resorting to uh, group phone calls, many are resorting to playing musical instruments together on screen time or on FaceTime. And the most important thing is, whatever you choose, try to stay connected, communicate, and when you connect and communicate with your friends, try to limit your discussion on points excluding coronavirus or the recent pandemic, because the point of connecting won't be much of fruitful at this point when you are in fact connecting with people. To clear your mind of the factor, try not to bring the factor into your conversation. And another factor is, if you have an indoor hobby, try to pursue it, try to continue it, don't let it go dormant, because this is a good time for you to keep your hobbies going, keeping on the go. The social factor of your well-being would be how you connect with your friends socially on these platforms. Now, while connecting in this media, it is an important thing to keep yourself away from the fake news that is usually propagated through these social platforms. Now, coming to the next part is how to have a good immune system. One way to boost your immunity is by using vaccines. Many vaccine preventable diseases are now not present due to the advent of vaccines. So every country has its own schedule. Our country also have a national immunization schedule fixed by the government, and it is advisable for all the children to get them vaccinated. Now here, if you ask me that are vaccines only for children, No, there are vaccines for both elderly population and certain age group or disease group of population. For example, for adolescents population, we have the HPV or the human papillomavirus vaccine to prevent against cervical cancer, and for people with structural lung disease or disease of the lung due to smoking related illness, or the elderly population who are vulnerable more to respiratory infections such as pneumonia, we have vaccines, the pneumococcal vaccine, the influenza vaccine, and by consulting with your physician, kindly it is advisable to take it. So coming to the next part, we'd like to discuss with the students who want to take up medical as a career. So in India, after passing your plus 2, you have to give a entrance examination held by the NEET for undergraduate for degree courses into the MBBS stream, and after passing it, most of the students are in a dilemma what to pursue. So once you are done with your MBBS, there are certain career options that I would like to lay up in front of you. The most common of which being the NEET PG, which the students select to do the post-graduation course in the country itself with a degree in either in surgical branch or medical branch, or they can choose DNB, or next they can choose to do PG abroad, like the 3-step US MLE for the United States and LAB for the United Kingdom. There are certain other license examinations also for the respective countries, like for Australia and Canada also they do have their license examinations. Now what other courses could you pursue? There is combined medical examination held by the UPSC every year. Through that you can get entry into the central services, for example the railways and the municipality. Next would be armed force. The armed force medical examination takes place, and you can opt into it, and it is held every year by an interview and an examination. The next would be to join a private hospital or private nursing home as a resident. So it's usually a walk-in interview. Another would be going into the research sector. There are certain job openings in the ICMR in its website. If you check on regularly, you can be a research fellow in the under any ICMR project. Next would be to join the civil service, which is a dream job for many. You can pursue it as a career option. UPSC holds this examination every year at a certain date. And another career option is in management in hospital administration. Currently this degree is given by AIMS and PGI Chandigarh. So it is a good career option. You can pursue this management course in hospital administration and go in the administrative post for it. Other options are you can join as a junior resident in any government medical college if there are job openings, or to join the National Health Mission as a medical officer in a PHC. So summarizing, these are your career options for any outgoing MBBS in India. I hope this short information would be of help to you. Here I'm signing off. Thank you, and I wish all of you good health.